This is all new to me. I'm a little mind blown at the technological advances that have happened here in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I thought that this topic would be right up your alley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
I love to talk about how I think people should live their lives.
Yeah. All-time high. We're out here. We're banging. Not
Googling
him and I,
right
but
now.
the podcast is banging. It's not.
Salt to the
married.
I mean, whatever.
Stop. Okay, we're live. We're out here. Thank you very much for joining us. Salt of the Streets pre-show episode 92. 92? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Zeke was 91. Zeke was 91.
Yes, and so we are out here. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Donovan. This is Colin. Let's just start right here. What did you have to eat before I got here today?
I made these bagel French toast things.
Yeah, okay, what?
Yeah, it's bagel French toast.
Okay.
It's just like this thing that I was like, I had some extra bread. I wanted to use up some bread, and I wanted French toast. And I was like, I got these bagels. So I just made up some French toast shit and threw some bagels in there and let them soak up a little bit, and then grilled them.
On both sides?
Oh, yeah, definitely on both sides. And then I threw out some fat cottage bacon, you know, that round stuff.
Yeah.
Fried up some of that, and then a couple eggs on top of that. And last night, we had Brinner for dinner.
Nice.
So I made like, instead of biscuits
Brinner,
and gravy,
bro.
right? Instead of biscuits and gravy, I did like shit on a shingle style. So it was like toasted bread instead of biscuits. Then
shit on a
fried
shingle?
Egg. Yeah.
Okay.
Fried egg. You've never had shit on a shingle?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Technically, it's a different thing, but it's similar. It's like chip beef in a creamy gravy type thing.
Okay. But
anyway,
it's the same idea.
Yeah, and then I made like some gravy with turkey sausage, and then poured that over the fucking, and so it was toast, cottage bacon, fried egg, like super runny, and then just drizzled with fucking gravy on it.
You're really into the cottage bacon, huh?
Well, I bought a pack of it, and I was like, well, I'm going to use it for everything until it's gone. So.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Yesterday was my mom's birthday.
Yeah,
so
happy
she's
birthday,
watching.
Kelsey.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Happy birthday again, Mom. And we had biscuits and gravy for breakfast with Jordan's English muffins instead of biscuits. Bro!
That's what I've been eating this morning. It would have been fantastic.
Oh, it was so good.
You should. Oh, you guys got to fuck with that. Take some of those and like soak them in like French toast stuff.
Oh shit,
dude! Boom!
Whoa! Because they're dense.
Yeah,
but
it would be so perfect. I think.
Yes, my mom said that she grew up on shit on a shingle.
Oh yes.
So
Captain, thank you.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I just learned about it when I joined the military. It was like a thing.
Yeah.
And it was really good. First time I had it in boot camp, I was like, "What is this? It looks like puke." And then you eat it, you're like, "Oh God, it's so good."
That's very interesting.
I'll make some for you. Maybe next time we do a show, I'll have some saved. You guys, I'll make a little container of it. You can throw.
Do you know when we'll do it?
Do it.
We'll do it when we create this new content that I'm about to lock us into right now. Okay, so before November, Colin and I have new content that we're going to create that is going to come out because we've taken a step back from new content for a while.
Yeah.
After Dax was born, especially, it was hard for everyone to get time. You know, Colin started working at the new company, and
then
so
COVID,
fucked everyone's everything up, right? So,
let me get a tissue real quick.
Yes.
Poor favor.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do, this is like 4 of them, is for some of our first pieces of new content. We are going to do individually, Colin's going to do his own little piece, and I'm going to do my own little piece, like 20, 30 minutes on how we go about doing research for the election and for the show. Right, and because I know that I've had people ask me like what sources do you use? How do you go about this? Like, how do you do this? Like stuff like that. And people just say they don't know how to find that type of stuff. You know, I don't know how to find objective content. I don't know how to find information that is the truth. You know, that isn't from MSNBC or from CNN, like all this shit. Right?
There's definitely a knack to it. Yes,
certainly. There's tricks to it. Like we talked about it last week with DuckDuckGo and stuff like that. You know, there are tricks that make it easier. There are other things you have to do more work. You have to put in different sources that are easier to identify. And I wanted to look up because Tim Pool has talked about a website that will show you.
It's called NewsGuard, and don't waste your money.
No.
Okay.
This was a website. It sounded like it was free. It was just a website you go to. That just showed you like almost lists of news sources from different sites. Like,
Oh,
these are
word.
left-leaning news sources, these are right-leaning, and these are whatever. You
That
know?
would be good. That'd be good.
And I will have to find it. I meant to do that before this because I wanted to lock us in this corner so that we had to do it, but I forgot to look up. What that website was called. So I'll find that, and we'll involve that in our content if it's worth it. But
I could talk shit on NewsGuard. That's fun.
So what's NewsGuard? What is that?
NewsGuard is like a browser plugin.
Okay.
And so if you go to like, a search result, you go to Google, there's always like a green check next to it if it's like an approved source,
Oh.
But it's like, some of them, are garbage anyways.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's roughly okay, but it's like the most cursory glance. It's
Interesting.
It's less intense than like what me and you would do by just knowing the source's name.
Yeah.
Because we've already done all the research to know what kind of journalists they have there, if you want to call them that, quote unquote.
Yeah. So we will. It was actually Jordan's sister, I think, that brought up this particular idea that they like went back and forth about it, about us each making our own video or a collective video about how to go about doing research.
Hard, yeah.
And so I think that's a great idea. So it's something we're going to do before November. We're also going to do a show like we did last year. Where we're going to go over the ballots, right? Because the next ones that we get are going to be ones that have initiatives on them. They're going to be not the primary ballots, the general election ballots. So there's going to be initiatives on there. There's going to be presidential candidates. There's going to be senatorial candidates, House candidates, local candidates, all that stuff.
Everything from your dog catcher on up to president.
Exactly. And so we are going to go over all of those like we did last year. That'll probably be a whole show of just this
Takes a
year.
while.
Especially because we'll go over some hard presidential issues. We'll be honest about some shit. There's been
brutally.
It is day by day getting more and more politicized. And when I was with my mom yesterday, she was asking me if I had watched any of like the DNC. I was like, no, I can't. I can't with either of the parties right now because it's all so ridiculous.
Which seems kind of like counterintuitive, right? Because you think like, we're politics guys, we should be watching that. But no, as true politics guys, like, we know we don't have to watch that. That's the fucking celebrity convention of the year.
Right.
It's anything that is, like, we already knew Joe Biden was going to get the nomination, right? And then we had our cursory AOC was there. She did the obligatory nomination for the
Bernie
number 2 guy,
Sanders,
which is traditional. But other than that, it's just everybody just getting up there, making their little, one-liners and their little 1-minute speeches or whatever it is, and that's it. It's just this self-aggrand, and the RNC is not going to be any different this coming week. So I'm just not into it. It's just more political showboating.
Well, and it seems especially this year there's been, at least from what I've seen a lot of clips, right? I have not sat down and watched a feed from the DNC, but I've seen a lot of clips just from consuming content about politics, and it seems especially this year there is just almost zero discussion about policy. It is all about terrible things that Donald Trump is doing and like reasons why Joe Biden is a better alternative than Donald Trump, and Kamala Harris is groundbreaking. And
is it Kamala or is it Kamala now?
I think it's
because one is now racist.
I think it's Kamala. I think it's
Kamala.
I think
it was
Kamala.
Yeah.
For a long time we went back and forth because
it was,
and now it's a bigger deal.
Yeah, because now she's going to be vice president. People got to announce. We don't want a Tim Pool name up. You know what I mean? I hate it when he does that. He just announces people's names wrong, like Vijaya, Vidya. It's like, how many fucking times, dude? He doesn't stop. I don't want to be that guy.
I don't like that.
I think it's Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Now that I really think about it, like, I think
Kamala. I heard somebody.
Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah. Noah Rothman's been on it hard all week. He's been like, fuck, I screwed it up. Oh, crap. Sorry, I screwed it up.
That's what we're going with. Salt of the streets, Kamala. That's what we're going with.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so we're going to expect both of those things before November. And that's when you can make shit on a shingle, is when we get together to do those contents. Because that'll be we can do that Friday night. It'll take both of us 20 minutes, take of like, here we go, chop out some bullshit in the middle, we get to go.
Heck yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah, we can even use that as content for us to go away for a week, and post that instead. That's
because that's a thing that's coming eventually.
Exactly.
So I got 2 10-day hunts coming up. One of them is in 2.5 weeks.
Ooh,
or 3.5 weeks. I can't remember exactly, but it's a long one.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking John out on his first. Carolina's going to go with us. And
For all 10 days?
No. This is just like a 2-dayer.
Oh, I was like, good Lord, son.
Yeah, no, I'm
so
not
he's going to
trying to
make
do that.
his first day as his first kind of den day. That's a lot.
That would be a lot. That's a little much for... I would never do that to somebody unless they've been used to it.
Man.
But
that's
it'll be good.
In the game.
It'll be fun. I think that's what... 2 week and a half, 2 weeks,
something like that.
Something like that.
That's gonna be a good time.
Hell, fucking yeah.
Yeah, we're going out tomorrow. We're gonna get your sighted in, your scope sighted in, John's scope sighted in.
Yep.
Well, as long as we can get it mounted on his rifle. So you guys are great.
Yeah.
I love John. Shout out to John. Shout out to Casey. It's Casey's birthday today.
Case
Bowman. Yep. Shout out Case. I actually drove past him on the way here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was out with Rachel's dad.
Definitely
doing
getting
some
him bovine farrier work.
Bovine podiatry out there.
If you're curious who Case Balls is, you can make sure to go check us out on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Donovan, in his beautiful mind, decided to take some sweet pictures over at the fucking murder garage on Wednesday.
My core literally still hurts. That was Wednesday. Still hurt. Is this what's... I know that is this what's going to be posted on YouTube? Is this right here?
Yes.
Word. Okay.
So this is going to be on the YouTube. Actually, as of right now, we might want to just preempt people for what we're doing here. The Facebook Live is going to be kind of... You're almost getting like the plain Jane version of right now. We got some new stuff going on in studio, multiple cameras. I'm switching cameras on the live and all that stuff. So if you really liked or if you missed part of the pre-show, wait for this thing to come out on Sunday night on YouTube over at Salt of the Streets at YouTube, and you'll be able to find it. It'll be sweet, man.
Zeke doesn't have a Facebook, so he always watches...
Perfect.
As soon as it drops on YouTube.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So sorry for anybody who's watching this because I've been looking down a lot. I guess I didn't consider that. This is all new to me. I'm a little mind blown at the technological advances that have happened here in the last 2 weeks. It's
right.
Something else. Yeah.
Been a little different.
Yeah.
And it all is thanks to Carolina, by the way, because I've just been diving into her realm of the Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
And there's like all manner of like very useful software and stuff that we can use here to make content. So, shout out to girlfriend over there.
Look at you muse, your technological muse.
Yeah, it's my inspiration.
What was I going to say? Larry Dixon is going to be on the show today.
The man, the legend himself.
Exactly. Local celebrity Larry Dixon. That's how I've been selling him to everybody. We're going to have a local celebrity Larry Dixon. That's what I've been saying every time I think that it's really fun.
New York Times, Bleacher Report, ESPN.
That was weird, right?
He comes with a pedigree.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to talk to him.
I wonder if he
I got his stats up there.
And he said that he's an open book, so there's nothing, that he said that he really doesn't talk about. So
that's good, because there's in that New York Times article, you know how they do when they do little interviews and stuff, like little snippets and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm never gonna remember this story,"
right?
And I'm like, "All right, tell me that story." And then if he doesn't remember, I'll bust his balls a little bit. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure from everything I've read about his career playing football for the Army over at West Point and stuff, the dude has got stats that put regular people to shame. I got a whole list of his stats from every year he was there.
Yeah.
And so some of them you're going to have to help me contextualize because I'm, relatively ignorant when it comes to football stats sometimes. Like I know like rushing yards and stuff like that, but some of the other ones you got to tell me how good they are.
No, we can do that. That's just fine. So we are going to talk with Larry. We're going to talk about, well, first of all, how we got connected with him, because I've only met him like twice. But we saw him do some comprehensive breakdowns of some different bills on Facebook, which obviously appeals to us. And then he was answering people's questions for like 3 days down in the comments, like just coming back and would continue to answer people's questions.
So he's like made for this show.
I think it's awesome, right? And now he does taxes. I don't really know much about him. We're all going to learn together about Larry Dixon today on the episode. Well, you guys are going to learn on Monday because that's what you get. But we're going to learn a lot with Larry Dixon today and about Larry Dixon today. So we're going to talk about the executive orders that were passed the last time we were here because they happened mid-show when we were recording with Zeke.
Yeah. So we're looking like the last four, the two that were kind of pertaining to WeChat and TikTok, and then the other
okay, so technically, like 3 of them were memorandum or some shit like that, and 1 of them was an executive order.
Okay,
but the 4 things that he signed 2 weeks ago today regarding economic stimulus, right?
Okay.
So the one regarding that was the actual executive order that I think has to do with unemployment, right?
Yes.
And then there was the 3 memorandums that are federal student loans, federal housing loans, and then
the pharmaceuticals.
nope, it
No?
was
Shit, I know that one came out.
the payroll tax deferral, bro. The payroll tax deferral.
So this dude has been, and that's not even mentioning the ones that I just mentioned too.
Right.
So much
Right.
executive
So, yeah.
power going on.
Yeah, these were just the 4 that were signed the last time we were here, like directly regarding economic stimulus. So we're going to talk kind of about those because he did another breakdown of those just when we were here last time. So we recorded here with Zeke, and I went home. Larry Dixon had already done a breakdown of those executive orders. Like he was already like, I already dug through it. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about kind of what we would like to see in a phase 4 stimulus bill, what we think it should look like.
Because I've been thinking about this.
Exactly. I've been thinking about it too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Larry's been thinking about it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about sports, obviously. We're going to talk to Larry about kind of his career. We're going to talk about some sports that have been going on right now because we've been skipping sports pretty much, I mean, like all year almost.
Yeah.
So like pretty much since COVID
Since the
kicked off,
COVIDs.
I think. Yeah, just first of all, there wasn't shit to cover because no one knew what was going to happen.
I saw somebody's dog was in the stands at the Mariners game the other day.
Yeah, Kyle's dog. Yeah, Sir
How
Lewis.
cool is that?
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're going to talk kind of like, I think we should talk about the different safety measures that they've done, what it's going to look like, because basketball has done really good. Major League Baseball has done for shit.
I have a hard time watching NBA right now.
And I know, right, so I haven't watched any basketball. I'm not really into basketball, and that's part of why we haven't covered sports, because sports here, is really football. That's
football.
actually what we really talk about during sports.
Ooh,
So,
but what's coming up? Labor Day weekend.
yeah, exactly. We got our fantasy draft. I'm doing a dynasty draft right now over the phone.
Shit.
So we're doing the whole thing. It's like it takes like a week and a half. It's a whole thing.
How many leagues do you win again? Like every year, like 4 or 5 or some shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. I know. It's absurd.
How do you
I know.
have the mental capacity?
I don't know
have
what
that.
I'm doing anymore. I don't know. I don't know how I'm invested in all this fake shit. I don't understand it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, so I got a lot of random questions for Larry that I got from like my mom last night. You know how my mom's brain works. She's a crazy person. So I got a lot of random questions that we're gonna ask Larry. And I think he wants to talk about learning pods, right? Larry wants to talk about learning pods. So we're gonna talk about learning pods, and I had to do some more research on it because there's like so many different variations, right? Learning pods is like an umbrella term almost for all these different alternative ways that parents are finding to teach their kids if they're not going to be actively in school in person. So we are going to talk more about learning pods, what that means, the different variations, and how that could kind of affect different aspects of society, voucher programs and shit like that. There's all kinds of, with all the different variations, there's different effects that it could have on society.
Yeah, because there's like all sorts of different ways to look at it. There's kind of in general, but then you factor in that like kind of within the system of our education system and all that stuff. It's so many different angles about it, and I'm a big fan of this idea because it's, we got big bugaboos about just the way standardized education goes, and this, to me, seems like a good proving ground for some of it.
I thought that this topic would be right up your alley.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, so I
love to talk about how I think people should live their lives.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there we go.
Yeah. So let's see. What was I
was going to say there was a segment if you were reaching for something we haven't really done lately. What have you been up to the last 2 weeks? Man. We have like these 2 weeks now in between shows, and like I had a great conversation the other day with a fishmonger. You know what a fishmonger is?
Like a person who sells fish?
Yeah. He's a wholesaler, owns like a fucking fishing boat up in Alaska.
How did you talk to this?
Just ran into him at the bar. I was having a business meeting one afternoon, and just met this dude and had an amazing conversation about seafood. And he owns a ship up in Alaska, and then whatever he catches, he owns the processing plant that he sends it to, and then he sells wholesale all over the region. But then, because he's also a fucking hustler, he's always got cases of whatever he's selling in season in the back of his truck. So people come up to him and be like, "Yo, dude,
Did you
what's up?
buy
What do you
fish
got
from
today?"
him at the bar?
No, I know how much that shit costs. I can't buy that.
Oh, it
I'll
was
go out and
really
catch it.
expensive.
Yeah, it's like crab. You know, in all the stuff that's in season now. But you'll pay more than you would at the store, but you're getting it literally direct from the supplier, which is cool.
Delicious.
Oh, dude. Yeah, people fucking... Dude, we're sitting there over like 3 hours. Probably half a dozen, maybe 8 people would come up, and he'd go out, and they'd do some business out in the parking lot, and he'd come back
Out of the
in.
back of his truck?
Word.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because it's all his product.
Start slanging fish, bro. What the
exactly.
fuck? What are you doing? That's really odd.
But that made me think about it. I was like, shit, I just had a really interesting conversation with a rando. I got to tell you about it.
That's a weird way to make money.
Yeah, so have you been doing anything interesting this past couple weeks?
I'm really boring compared to that. No, I hang out with John all the time.
John is like the opposite of boring, though.
Went to, like I said, yesterday was my mom's birthday, so she got some cabin out on Lake Nawatzel. Nawatzel.
Like Nawatzel?
Nawatzel.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Where's
It's out
that
there.
poppin'?
It's like out in Sheldon. It's out by the prison. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, it's deep.
Like the lady prison?
Right, no, the dude prison, the regular prison. Yeah,
dog.
Exactly. Yeah, I was out there.
I've heard horror stories about that
Driving
place.
past it, and I was like, "Where the fuck am I?" Like, what? It's deep, bro. It's deep out there. Yeah. So didn't go to the prison. Went past the prison. Obviously, went to the cabin, and it was like raining and shit. So I didn't get to go in the water. There was that dock that I showed you.
Oh, that was where it was.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So
That's
we did
cool
that.
spot.
It was really nice. Yeah. Last weekend.
Nothing. It was like shit. What was last weekend? I don't even remember.
Last weekend was super hot. John and Olivia,
dude.
went away.
Yeah.
I think
We were out in the whole rainforest.
You guys were gone.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
It was hot.
It was
humid,
too
bro.
hot. Yeah, so it
was
didn't
so
do
hot.
anything. Yeah, it was too hot to do anything. So we stayed inside with air conditioning. I believe is what we did on Sunday.
I'll say this: if you want to escape the heat, right, like that, do not go to the middle of a fucking rainforest.
Was it just
during the hottest? Because not only is it just hot as fuck at that point, but then you're like in a sauna the whole time.
Was it super sweaty and gross?
It was super sweaty.
It was like Ecuador.
Yeah.
It was like Ecuador, she says. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
But yeah, no, it was good. Jake went up with us, and we did like, it was about 6.5 miles in. And
I went to Jake's last weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
did on like Friday or something like that. So I went and got my haircut, and then I worked out with John. I'm play by playing it so I can try and remember. Yeah, so I went and got my haircut. I went and worked out with John, and then I went to Jake's house. Came home.
You watched any good movies or anything lately?
I watched Bone Tomahawk today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
I watched
because.
Just because.
Love it.
I watched 310 to Yuma yesterday.
Oh, that's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, the new one. So I'm going to watch the old one because I'm sure that one's even better than the new one. The new one was really good with like Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And, Russell Crowe. So
that was a good one.
Great
man.
movie. Yeah, huge fan. But it's a remake, I believe, of an earlier.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen the old one, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to watch that. I've been having, because of... Man, okay. So this is why I haven't been doing anything, because I've been just in such a weird place mentally, like since everything happened, that I'm like spending time just trying to figure out where I'm at. You know,
Yes.
so it's like a whole process. So I told Jake last week. This is the first time that I've spoken to anybody about this other than Jake and my wife. Right? I told Jordan last week. I was like, I feel weird. You know, I don't know how. Like I just feel I have all this stuff. Like inside, like I just feel like I want to do bad shit, you know. I'm like, and that doesn't mean anything, you know. And I don't have a better way to.
There's got a lot of pent up.
Yeah, you know. And it's like I told her and Jake, I was like, the best way that I could describe it is like if I didn't have a wife and son, like I would be doing crime. I would be doing some type of illicit activity because that's just how I feel, you know. And I don't have an outlet for anything like that and I know that's the only way that I know. Because I never like gangbanged or anything, but like I sold drugs and shit when I was younger, you know. So that's like the only.
Is it like
only way I think my body knows how to like push out that like idea of like wanting to do bad shit is like, oh well, this is bad when you were doing it, so this is what you should be doing, like something like illicit, you know, but like selling pot, they sell in the stores now, so that's not like. So I don't.
But what is it about like the illicit act?
I don't know.
Is it like the no?
I feel
like if you knew that answer,
part of it I think is political. That I feel like as I've done more research constitutionally and about the founding and stuff like that, a lot of my views about the Bill of Rights and stuff have shifted to a more originalist view of a lot of that type of stuff. And so I think part of it is like just feeling like a lot of laws are unjust. Things that people are like, oh, these are fine. This is just, laws and taxes are like the price that you pay to live in a civilized society, and
I don't like that.
Yeah. And so I think that it's a combination of things, that like pent-up aggression that doesn't working out, I think has been really good. It's definitely helpful to like get a lot of that type of stuff out.
It's like Joe Rogan says, man, you got to keep the demons down.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a full-on, mind you, I had been drinking a little bit that night. That was oh my God. So this is why, one of the reasons I was so winded at the murder garage that day. The night before, I had bought a 6-pack of that Silver City Ride the Wave or whatever.
So good.
8% good, so by the way.
Yeah.
And I rifled through 5 of those in one evening. Yeah. And then I proceeded to have an emotional breakdown because I had realized that due to, like, same kind of thing, thinking all this, like, constitutional and, like, real foundational concepts, realizing that essentially we don't have freedom the way it was the founders meant for it to be. But at the same time, it's like, But we kind of have to give up some of that, I guess, for society's sake, and it gets real complicated real fast.
Well, and especially it's like, I don't remember who was here when we talked. It was Elijah. Elijah was here when we talked about it, because we were talking about the Black Panther Party. We were talking about just a lot of the ways that these different, like, gun laws are, and just things that I feel are very much constitutionally bound to this country that are now looked at as like radical ideas, that like gives me a lot of trouble internally, that it's not even just things at this point personally, right? And this is, again, I guess part of interpretations of the way that you view the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the way that you interpret it, right? But things that I don't feel are opinion. I feel that is the way that it was written. I feel like that's the interpretation that's what they meant, from everything that I have seen. These are the ways that I feel like they mean. And so to me, it's not even like a personal opinion. I'm like, you are denying the way that I feel fundamentally about this country. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And when you think about, like,
that's being, I'm being told that that's radical. And that, like, makes me so upset.
It's because it's not just the fact that you're seeing this stuff and going like, okay, this is wrong, all this, but no, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we are so divorced from that.
Yeah.
It's almost unrecognizable. You start reading some of those Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers, and you start to read all the literature, like the guy over at Wall Builders and stuff was talking about. You go, oh, no, we have no fucking concept. We've lost all of that.
Everything.
So I don't know how anybody can even assume they know what the beginning of the country was actually supposed to be like anymore.
Well, even from that, right? So issues as large as that, down to, I guess I don't even want to call it a small thing, but like I was like talking about it a couple of times this week about we have an entire Congress that walked away from their jobs as there was no stimulus bill written, but the moment that they decide they want to have hearings for Louis DeJoy so they can be on TV to talk about how Donald Trump is trying to bastardize the postal system because he doesn't like mail-in ballots, well, shit, we have to come back for that.
Yeah, we have time for these showboat hearings,
and people are happy about it, and they're championing that. It's the conversation was instantly away from, oh, the people that are dying, people who don't have money, the economy, all this shit, to, well, shit, we got to make sure that we get fucking Louis DeJoy, right? Because him and Donald Trump are in cahoots together. He donated all this money, all this shit. I listen to those 3 different podcasts every single day, right? From the New York Times, NPR, and then from ABC. All of them that talked about it, not one of them mentioned the fact that he did logistics for the Army for like a decade. No. Not one, right? Just that
you can't
just
say that.
All these nefarious ties about him donating all of this money to Donald Trump, right? Not the fact that his job was logistics for the military, for Army, for like a fucking decade, right? And I'm not, that again doesn't discount the things that look sketchy, but it certainly it gives more legitimacy to the idea of why he might have that fucking job. If his job was to organize logistics for an entire branch of the military, then I think I understand why he might be qualified for this position to be Postmaster General. So,
and I remember like 2 weeks ago when the USPS was about the the most bastardized version of a governmental branch we ever had.
Yeah.
It's been hemorrhaging money, and it's been being outdone by private sector companies and stuff, to the point where they're being forced to give USPS contracts to deliver their packages, and then they don't fucking show up on time, or they show up to a different place that's a whole town away from where they should be going, and they're just like, well, hey, we're the mail people.
Whoops.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then
how did everybody just fucking forget that? The U.S. Post Office has sucked for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Nothing is new about that.
And so when I was frustrated about that, I was watching Rising, right? And Sagar did a whole segment about...
Oh, it was so good.
It was amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I shared that video, put it on Facebook. No hashtags, no commentary from me, no anything. Just that video.
Yeah, you had to blast it twice.
Literally not one engagement. I went back and checked the next day. Not a single person...
I didn't see it until the second one. I didn't even see it until the second one.
Isn't that weird?
Not really.
Yeah.
Shadow ban.
Yeah. And when I was at Jake's house on Friday, I had to explain to him like what shadow banning is, and just this corner that like we've been painted in. And then I saw the the post that I did on Instagram of me and Casey working out, and then John in there, right? Mm-hmm. And then like it tagged a couple other people in it, and it's like, this post is doing 85% better than the rest of it. It's like, oh, that's so fucking weird. That's so odd. Yeah, this one that 4 other people are tagged in, so they're gonna come and see it for certain, is doing 85% better than all the rest of our shit. Like, that's so weird.
Yeah. I was taking my hat off because I was going to show you I did get a haircut. I don't remember if I saw that.
Yes.
But I went over to our girl Shayna.
Shayna. Shout out to Shayna.
She hooked me up, and we were talking about it a little bit while we were over there. She's like, yeah, you guys are definitely shadow banned. And I don't see half your stuff unless I search for the page and find it that way.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't show up on the feeds. Doesn't show up on the feeds.
And I don't think people realize. I think that a lot of people just don't realize how much stuff they're not seeing, But I would bet any of the 6 people watching at this very moment that you could go onto, well, I guess anybody who is on social media with any type of regularity, right?
Yeah.
I would bet you $5 that you could go to our page and find at least 2 things in the last month that you didn't see come up on your feed.
Oh, word.
I would bet you $5.
It happens to a lot of people that I follow too.
Yeah, and so
it's jacked up.
It's an odd world that we live in,
Yeah.
And Jake was like, what do you do about it? And I'm like, yeah, nothing. You don't, nothing.
What am I supposed to do? Talk to Bill Gates about it?
You defeat the algorithm. Yeah, I'm like, and the
Zuck?
the fact that all this stuff is separated through third parties, all the moderating and stuff like that. I'm like, even if you reach out to Facebook and you're like, hey, I'm concerned, especially regarding these Project Veritas videos about all this, biases that might be taking place in our content not being seen as much as it should, unless I pay you money for it to show up on people's feeds, like I have real concerns about it. Like, oh, why don't, it's a third party, so we don't, we certainly don't tell them anything that they should or should not do, or anything they should or shouldn't moderate, other than, hate speech or hateful content or dangerous things, anything
ill-defined terms.
Yeah, so there's not a way to legitimately address an issue that can be so easily written off as, well, I don't, this isn't our issue. So
if you had 1 million followers plus, to the point where you were able to, Facebook or whoever it is actually making money off of you and your popularity or your influence, whatever you want to call it, even then you'd barely get any kind of notice. Nobody would really pay attention. Nobody would care over at Facebook. Like, well, whatever. Well, you're a fucking hateful bigot, so sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a tough world, man. I don't know. Something's going to happen eventually. It has to. Because more and more people every day. Fucking Brian Callen tried to get canceled the other day.
Bro.
You been seeing that?
Yeah. Olivia was telling me about it.
Oh, he did a little segment on Crowder. I think pretty good one.
Yeah.
Check that one out.
Crowder just got remonetized. It's been a year since he's been.
See how long that holds up.
And his shit's pretty crazy too. His shit's there's some stuff that I'm like, oh man, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
You've been pushing the boundaries, bro.
They're doing it, which
a year
is a good thing. I think it's that same the originalist part of my heart. I'm like, that's a good thing. Like, we need people who are making me uncomfortable, because I'm pretty bold. Like, we are, we do this all the time. So we're out here. We're out here putting our own opinions out there. So, I feel pretty emboldened about the things that I say. So if you're making me be like, oh shit,
Oh,
like, the things that you're saying are pretty extreme, which is not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying?
No.
But there should be somebody that's making people like me feel uncomfortable.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
if there's nothing to push against, if you can't push your ideas against someone else, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Then everybody just agrees with each other, and the world's a terrible place.
And the people that make Steven Crowder uncomfortable, those are the people that need to be banned. Those are the ones that need to go.
Yeah, if he's uncomfortable, that's a problem.
We're in a bad place. Not that he's a radical, but says some pretty radical shit.
Yeah,
He uses that comedian shield pretty fucking. His is pretty sturdy.
And he always goes to his lawyer.
Yeah,
all the time. I forget what's his
half
lawyer?
Asian Bill Richmond.
Yeah, there it is.
Half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond. It's a great. That's everything that they're doing there. Quarter Black Garrett. It's all
designed
right on the line
to just poke at the intersectional people.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I got to give them a hand. It's pretty. It's bold.
Oh yeah,
and
somebody's got to do it,
and they're supporting. They're making money off of it. So I don't.
Well, it's like with comedians, you got to. Back in the day, it was, what was his name? The guy in the suit, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. His character's in that one. I'm blanking on his name now, but people that were getting arrested for swearing in public and being lewd and all this, always pushing the boundaries of that First Amendment to see what you can and can't get away with. And Crowder's no different. He's on the front line, pushing the line to see what you can do, what's still okay to say, which is very important, I think.
Yeah.
The free speech warriors.
It's important to see stuff that makes you uncomfortable sometimes.
Hard, yeah.
Without
if you can't stand somebody pushing against your ideas like that to the point where it makes you uncomfortable, you feel offended or something like that, you should ask yourself why. And if it's just the idea itself that's offensive, maybe you should wrestle with that idea a little bit and try to see what it is,
I came home one day a couple weeks ago, all spun up about trigger warnings. About trigger warnings, about the idea of a trigger warning, and just how fucking stupid I felt like it was,
It's so dumb.
That someone should not be expected to be able to control themselves to either deal with something or remove themselves from a situation. Like, I so much preemptively remove you from responsibility that I'm gonna just tell you right now, you might be triggered, and if something happens, it's okay because you're triggered, and I told you that it might happen. So, that's all right. Just try and keep it together because warning. I think that's
if you're
so
a fragile
fucking ridiculous.
Little soul, this might shake your worldview.
It was. Now I remember where I saw it, right? So DaBaby has a song called Rockstar, right? And the original video is like zombies and like tactical gear and like all this stuff, right?
I watched that at your house the other day.
Yes, and then there's another version that he did after the killing of George Floyd during the BET Awards that he did at the end of the original video. There are these other verses that he then takes and turns into another video. It's like the Black Lives Matter version of Rockstar, right? And so the music is a little bit different. Like the verse is a little bit different, and it starts and there's a police officer has his knee on DaBaby's neck, right? And that's the most inflammatory thing that I could find in the whole thing. But whoever posted it first that I saw was like, oh, trigger warning, by the way, if you're gonna watch this, right?
Oh yeah.
So I watched the whole thing partially because I like that song. I'm trying to see what the difference is, and also because I'm like, well, what's the fucking is there gonna be mowing down a bunch of black people? It's like, what's the deal? And that's the most inflammatory thing that I could find. I'm like, what?
If you just saw, if you watched that video and
it was weeks after that. The BET Awards were weeks after that. I mean, it's like you can't.
But I mean,
you're going to be so instantly upset by seeing a music video that you can't even
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it because and this is not to say and I'm not doing a CYA thing.
No.
But when we watched the video of George Floyd dying, right, multiple times, it's disturbing to watch a human being get killed in front of you.
Word. So
it really is.
Yes.
But then,
yes.
So that can almost, in my mind, be justified, but it depends on the context of it.
Right.
Well,
mean? And that's I think so. I appreciate that because I would definitely like to draw a distinction between just like a trigger warning and like mature content. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between a warning of like, this is pornography, you know, this is a video of people being murdered. This is a video of fucking the Holocaust or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's like, why we have a rating system, by the way.
Exactly. Right. Like you said, that a child would not even be able to contextualize something that they're seeing. You know what I'm saying? But like a grown adult who of standard facts, even I've dealt with depression my entire life. I still don't think that I should be given a trigger warning for like, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that's...
It's not necessary.
I think it's unnecessary. Yeah.
Like if you need a trigger warning to get through your adult life, we probably need to go to therapy.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've been going to therapy for years. But that also means
with therapy.
Right. But if imagery of something is actively upsetting you to that point, even if it's directly related to something you've experienced in your past, that means that you are obviously not dealing with whatever that is, and you have unresolved issues that should be dealt with. And if you're walking around like that every day, then therapy is probably the best place to deal with those issues. Yeah.
You know, I know a person who got pistol whipped at one point in her life.
Yeah.
And to this day, she can't see a gun without breaking into a cold sweat after that. I said, well, that's not you being a snowflake at that point. You have legitimate trauma that you need to deal with, and you should probably go talk to a professional about how you could best get through that, because you shouldn't live your life that way. If you can get over that hump, you should get over it. I mean, that'd be a good thing to tackle. But so there's legitimate trauma, and then there's like, that's why I bring up like the context to the situation. You know, like if you've been pinned on the ground by a cop on your neck or something, that might bring up a little PTSD type of thing. But you know, it's not my responsibility as the content creator, I feel, to be like, hey, there might be something in you. Might be terrified of zombies in this one.
And this wasn't even on the like DaBaby put it there. It was whoever was sharing it, they had chosen to put it there. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I also felt that it was so like, he didn't even as an artist feel like it was so upsetting that you might be upset by it. It was you as a content consumer that then felt like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. It's all to each their own. If you're trying to protect people's feelings, it is what it is. But I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary.
It's I feel like continued thin-skinnedness of overall society. I think it's not getting better.
Yeah, I also don't do anything that I know is going to actively hurt someone's feelings. You know, but I don't stop myself from doing something because I think it might hurt somebody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know. That just seems a little bit silly to me. It does. It just seems a little bit silly to me.
Welcome to 2020, baby.
That's just me. So, with that, I think it's about time. Yeah, it's right about that time. So we are going to go ahead and end the pre-show right here. Larry Dixon is going to be on. I'm sure that I got some messages or something from him. Then he's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" I'm just kidding. I told him about 1 o'clock. It's 12:53. We got time. I gotta go pee. I gotta get my rain out of the freezer. I gotta get all the
stuff.
We gotta
get more beer chachos.
Yeah. You know? Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. It's been a fantastic pre-show. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys liking and sharing. Obviously, we need that help. We've been talking about the shadow banning thing for, just months on end now. It is a real problem. We will talk to you about it individually anytime that you want to provide you more details. It's a real issue that we're dealing with, and we need your guys' help to get over it. We need your help to defeat that.
Yeah. At this point, it's almost like a hurdle. And all we need is a volume of people to just start sharing content, liking content, reviewing content. Yeah. And because that just essentially tells the algorithm at that point, like, you don't
commenting.
Need to shadow ban.
Yeah. Yes. We've been getting more. We've been getting more subscribers on YouTube. We've been getting comments on YouTube. We're getting more. Followers. Excuse me. Woo. Followers and likes. Oh damn it! I have this. I'm like, oh god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody. Oh, fuck.
Oh, it's all right, bro. At least you're not John Podhorensoning up with the breathing.
Okay. So we've been getting more subscribers on YouTube. I feel horrible.
And just wait till y'all see this video. It's
going to be nasty.
It's going to be so good.
And you can check that out on our YouTube at Salt of the Streets. This has obviously been live on our Facebook at Salt of the Streets. We have our own private social media, or our personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_daughter on Instagram. He is at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. You can find all of this on saltofthestreets.com. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Salt of the Streets podcast on every source that you can possibly think of or find. It's out there. If you find without it,
you can just Google us.
Yeah, Google it. We're out there. Googleability all-time high. We're out here. We're banging. Not him and I,
right
but
now?
the podcast is banging. It's not.
Salt
we're
to the
both married.
I mean, whatever.
Stop. Don't. We don't need this in our lives. We're out of here. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Larry Dixon, look out for it on Monday. Local celebrity out here. He squatted like 600 pounds. I watched it on Instagram. It's absurd. I'll show you the video before. Yeah,
that
it's
hurts
crazy.
me emotionally.
It's crazy. Peace
Bye,
out.
guys.
Be safe. Bye, everyone.